SAS. So yes, in the first class only I already told you that. Yesterday also I discussed with you. The main purpose of SAS is it's a programming reporting tool. It's a programming and reporting tool. So the main purpose is it is useful to data retrieval and report writing, application development, statistical analysis, and business solutions, so on. So okay, the first one is data retrieving. So it means to develop the any kind of report. So for the particular report, the data will be available in any kind of data sources. Like it would be like databases or Oracle, DB2, Sybase, Informix, Teradata, whatever. So maybe the data will be available in database, or in some cases the data will be available in flat files. Flat files is nothing but Excel, MS Excel, and MS CSV files, comma separated values, Notepad, access file. So these are the flat files. So if the data is available in any kind of source, the first purpose is we have to retrieve the data from all the data sources into SAS. So that is the first purpose. By using SAS, we can get the data from any kind of source. And report writing. So after getting the data into SAS, we can generate the reports. So application development and statistical analysis. So here we will develop the application like reports, and there we will do some analysis by using some various statistical procedures from SAS, and we can give the business solutions. So how can you give the business solutions means as per your report. Okay, so as per the report, so your business, your end user, so your client will take decision making. So because you want to know the status of the business, so that particular business report you will generate. So according to that report, he will come to know so what business is happening in the last month or in the current month or in the next month. So it means if you know the status of the business in past and present, so you can easily predict the future. So that's why we can give the business solutions for our end user. So that is main purpose of SAS. Okay, and the next one is SAS windowing environment. So here I told you what is the purpose of SAS, and after that SAS windowing environment. Okay, so SAS windowing environment means how many windows will be appeared in our SAS application. So I'm going to tell all the windows use, how to use them, and how many windows will be there. So now I'm going to tell you. First of all, just see, I just want to introduce your SAS application. So this icon is our SAS application, SAS 9.2. Currently I'm using SAS 9.2. Okay. So if you open this icon, if you click on this icon, your application will be open. SAS 9.2. See, as I told here, it's a SAS windowing environment. See, there are different windows are there. See at the top, at the bottom side, we can see 5 basic windows here: editor window, log window, output window, explorer window, results viewer window. So you can see here 5 basic windows, which are editor window, log, output, explorer, and results window. Apart from these basic windows, see here, you can see here one. So there are some icons are there. So these icons we can call it as toolbar. So these are nothing but toolbars, and see apart from this, you can see at the left side. So we have again some options are there. So which options are nothing but menu bar. So we have some options in the menu bar, and we have some options in the toolbar. Apart from these menu bar and toolbar, we have one more. One prompt is there. It's a command prompt. So there you can open the Notepad, or if you want to see the date, if you want to see the time, so you can do this. So nothing but whatever you do by doing like this, just go to how can you go to run button, something but command prompt. So there, if you want to open the Notepad, you need to type the Notepad over here. Or if you want to open the calculator, so you need to type the calc. So there you can open the calculator. So it means you have to open the calculator, we have to minimize our SAS application, and we have to do that. We have to open that run command prompt. So there you need to open the calculator, but no need to do like this. You can open the calculator in SAS environment itself. So for that we have an environment called command prompt. There you can type the calc, but this is your SAS application prompt and this is your Windows. So the difference is, if you want to open the calculator, you need to type the first letter should be X space calc. So there you can open the calculator. So it opens the calculator. Suppose if you want to open the Notepad, again just type the X space Notepad. If you want to operate anything, so you have to mention the X. X is a keyword. See, here you can open the Notepad. Suppose if you want to see the time, just give an X space time. So it will open the current time is 7:53. So like this, you can use this command prompt. Okay. So that's it. We have only 5 basic windows here at the top, at the bottom side, and here we have some icons are there. So these icons are nothing but which related to toolbar, and apart from this, here we have some icon options here: file, edit, view, tools, run. These options are nothing but menu bar, and this one is command bar. So that's it. So this is our SAS windowing environment. I will tell you each window's specifications, like what is the use of editor window and what we do in the editor window, and what is the use of log window, what is the use of output window. I will tell you everything. No need to worry about this. So this is our SAS windowing environment. Okay. So before going to explain these windows, first, I would like to introduce our SAS terminology. So this terminology will be different, will be quite different. See, just come to presentation. Okay. So the main terminology of SAS is, so in general terminology, so what is a table means? Table is nothing but columns plus rows, columns and rows. So we call table. But in SAS, we call table is SAS data set. Columns are nothing but variables, rows are nothing but observations. So generally in SAS, we'll create some tables here. So by giving some code, we'll create the data sets in SAS library, in SAS environment. So here we don't call it as a table. So we have to call it as a SAS data set. So that's why, so this is our terminology. So table we call SAS data set, columns we call variables, rows we call observations. And that's it. Okay. So what type of data will be there? And generally, see here, data types are nothing but we have only 2 kind of data types, which is character and one is numeric. Character is nothing but it can contain like alphabets or some special character symbols. Data types are nothing but one is character and one is numeric. Numerics can contain numbers, maybe your dates you can say, and character data type is nothing but the data should contains only alphabet or some special characters. Special characters are nothing but these symbols. These symbols. Underscore, dollar symbol, hash, percentile, or at the rate. So these are nothing but special character. Okay. Now, just let's see. I will create one dummy table, one sample table here. Again, I will show you what are the variables, which are which are called observations, which we call variables. No need to worry about this program. Again, I will tell you everything from the basics. Just I am creating one new table called ABC. Okay, now I've written a small program here. Now I'm going to submit this program for the execution. Here we have an icon called submit icon. If you click on the submit icon, your program will be submitted for execution. Okay. Now see, if you create any library, if you create any data sets, nothing but if you create any tables, the tables will be created in SAS and particular criteria. That criteria is nothing but libraries. So if we create any tables, the tables will be generated, or the tables will be stored in SAS one criteria called libraries. So there we have different libraries are there. One is ABC library, maps, Rushel, SAS help, SAS user, work. Okay, so let me tell you one thing. Here, apart from this, except ABC, Rushel, these are my permanent libraries. I created these libraries. Okay, so these are nothing but predefined libraries. So these libraries will be created by SAS system only. So we don't have any access to delete these particular library. See here, if you click on delete delete, so the delete is icon is in inactivation. It is not in activated form. It means it is inactive. So we cannot delete this as a SAS help library because this particular library has created by SAS system. So we cannot delete those libraries. Okay. And one more thing is, suppose if we create any table, so there are different libraries. The data set will be created in which library? So again, it's one more question. If you see maps, you cannot see the table. So by default, if we create any data set, that particular data set will be created in work library only. So work library is nothing but it's a temporary library. It is intended for practice purpose. So if you create any table, so the table will be created in work library. Okay. Suppose if you open that ABC data set, so nothing but table. But in SAS terminology, we should not call it as a table. It's a data set. Okay, now see here, this is one data set called ABC. Here we have variables called name, sex, age, height, weight. These are the variables, and these are nothing but rows. But rows we call observations. So this is our terminology in SAS. Table we call SAS data set. Columns we call variables, rows we call observations. So this is a general terminology. Here I've written this program to explain the terminology of SAS. No need to worry about the program. Okay, and the next one is data types. Terminology is clear, and next one is data type. Just now I told you, see in this table, what type of information is there? One is character information and one is numeric information. So these are numbers. So these three variables are numeric variables and these two variables are character variables. So how can you say that? So because this particular variable, it contains some characters, and this particular variable is contains some characters, but it contains numeric. So we can say that it's character, it's a numeric variable. And if you observe the alignment also, you can easily find out which is character and which is numeric. These alignment will be, the alignment will be from the left side for the character. See, if it's a character variable, the data will be shot from the left side. Suppose if it is a numeric variable, so the data will be starts from the right side only. So by this you can say that which is character and which is numeric. So this is our data types. Okay. Now I will explain SAS Building Environment. Okay. Now I will explain SAS Building Environment. Okay. The first one is editor window. See, this is our editor window. Okay, so this is editor window. This is first basic window in our SAS application. What is the use of editor window means? You can write the SAS program over here. So you can write the SAS program in editor window, and this is the first point. And the second point is, after writing your SAS program, if you want to do any modifications for your existing program or for your current program, you can do that modifications in editor window itself. Okay, once you feel satisfied, okay, now my program is everything is perfect. So if you want to execute your SAS program, just select the program here and execute. Just here we have an icon called submit button. If you click on the submit button, your program will be executed successfully. So this is the main use of editor window. That's it. The first point is okay. The first point is it is useful to write the SAS program. And the second point is it is useful to modify the program. Modify the program is nothing but, suppose you have given a small SAS code yesterday, but again you open the SAS code today. Suppose if you want to do some modifications, so suppose if you want to create one more table here, I want to create one more table called ABC123. So like this you can do some modification in the editor window itself. So that's why the second point is modify the program. You can modify your existing program or you can modify the new program. After that, you can submit your program for execution.
Mr. Srinivas, a quick thing. I think the people whom we have, Mukesh and Madhu, they would know at least what data type and stuff is. I don't mind you repeating it, but if we get to the more practical stuff, that is better for them, I believe, because every starting from super basics, I don't think is necessary, because they would have at least a basic idea about what simple things are. So just my
but
yeah.
Okay, I don't know whether they know the basics or not. So if I know that, it means if they speak something, I can start from these. I can.
Yeah. I
can plan it.
But everything, like what is data type, what is A, what is B. I don't think we need to go that basic level. That is just my input, because it gets very boring, and people, if they lose interest, they are not going to come back.
Okay.
So they have to learn, that they have to see, okay, there is something happening. If they start doing it, they find the problem, they'll come to you. But the more advanced, because every student I'm talking to, they tell me the same thing. We know all the basics, don't start from the basics. Give me something that I can actually use in the program, use in the job. So
it means should I start from
Basics
Okay.
are necessary, but we don't have to dwell into it like all the time. So they know the simple stuff. We can start a step above. That's all I'm
So it means no need to explain these windows, right? Header window,
no,
log window, output.
you should. I'm not saying do not explain, but if he just if they lose interest, they may not come back tomorrow. That's all I'm saying. So we need to
Okay.
have at least two people in the class. Otherwise, it is going
Okay.
to be difficult.
Okay.
So the thing is, the
Uh,
art of teaching is, because I myself taught people project management and stuff. If you lose the interest, if they start yawning in the class, that's it. They're not going to come back. Even if they come, they will not
okay.
learn.
So, like, I want to say something. Because this is the basic thing, you can go just in a couple sentence instead of like repeating again and again. Although it's good to know, but the basic thing you can just give a brief introduction and you can move ahead.
Okay, fine. So it depends on you only. If you say
Right.
something, yes, we know these things means I can move to the next.
No, that's fine. I
So,
mean, either way, fine to me. But the thing is, because I really want to learn it. So,
oh,
but some of the because if I'm interested, I definitely gonna go and try to learn what the basic thing is. So,
oh, fine. Oh, fine. Oh, fine. Okay then. Okay. So next one is log window. So in the editor window, we will write the program and we will submit the program. So, but we don't know whether the program has successfully submitted or not. So maybe there may be some errors will be there. So how can you understand those errors means when you execute this SAS program, so you will get the information related to this program in the log window. So it means if your program having some any errors, the errors will be shown here only in the log window. Suppose if the program is not having any errors, everything is perfect. So here this information will be showing, like there are one data set has created, which one work.abc has 19 observations and 5 variables. It means that if you don't have any errors, you can create one data set. So we'll get the message over here. So you can easily understand our data set has been created successfully. So in sometimes if I forget here semicolon, so it's a syntax error. So suppose if I execute program now, now see here, you will get one error here. File work the run data does not exist. So it means system will understand this is one data set and this is one data set. So that is the reason why we are not getting the data into ABC123 and ABC. So this program is nothing but, okay, I will tell you. See here, I'm creating one table called ABC. I'm creating new SAS dataset called ABC from the class dataset. So okay, so this is my source dataset, which is there in the SAS help library. If you open the SAS help, you can see the dataset here. See here, this is your class dataset. So nothing but I just want to read the data from this class dataset into new SAS dataset, that is ABC. That is ABC. Suppose if you don't give a semicolon here, system, what does the system think that class is one dataset and run is also one dataset. So that is the reason why here we're getting the data run.data does not exist. So that is why we are getting the error here. Okay, and I will tell you there are some rules are there to write the SAS program. How to write SAS program? How should I specify semicolon over here? Should I specify semicolon here, or can I give one semicolon? Is it enough or not? Is it sufficient or not? So here every statement should end with a semicolon. Every statement. So data is a one statement, set is a one statement, and run is also one statement. So this is your syntax actually. So every statement should end with a semicolon, and the first point is, and the second point is, each statement or single statement you can write in multiple lines. So this is one statement actually. Suppose if you split into multiple lines, no problem. It doesn't harm your program. It doesn't harm your program. The single statement can be read in multiple lines, or multiple lines you can write in single lines. See, this is your first. I'm showing how to write single statement in multiple lines. So this is single statement, but I split it into multiple lines. If you execute the program, your data set will be created. No problem. Suppose if you write multiple statements in single line, even if you write like this, no problem. So it doesn't harm your program. See, now I'm deleting the data set. Now again I'm executing the program, so I can see the data set over here. So it doesn't harm your program. You can write SAS program like this. You can write single statement in multiple lines or multiple statements in single line. Okay. And the third rule is, we have two levels. One is data strip and one is proc strip in our base SAS. Both data strip and proc strip should end with a run statement. So suppose now I'm using proc print statement, proc print data equal to ABC, just run. So this procedure is nothing but it is useful to print the data from ABC dataset. It is useful to create one dataset called ABC. Okay, that is data strip, and this is proc strip. So these both data strip and proc strip should end with the run statement. So this is compulsory. This is your fourth rule. Okay, now see here how you will get the print. So nothing but you will get the print of the data set like this in HTML window. Actually, this is an additional window. It doesn't appear in the SAS in basic windows. These are the only basic windows, but that window which is coming, it's an additional window. If you don't want that, just go to Tools, Options, Preferences. Here we have an icon called Create HTML. If you click on that, you will get that window. If you don't click on that, you won't get on that window. But that now the printing information will be shown in output window only, in this output window. I think you are very clear about output window also, because in editor window we will write the program. In the log window, after writing the program, if any errors are there, you can understand the errors in the log window. Okay, so if you print the data, whenever you print the data, the printing information will be appeared in that output window only. Okay, apart from these three windows, one more window is there, Explorer window. In Explorer window, nothing but we can see the libraries here. So you can, if you go back, so you can see the different libraries here. But presently we are working on work library because it's a temporary library. Suppose if you want to store any data set in a particular library apart from except work library, suppose now this time I want to store this ABC library in SAS help dataset, SAS help library. So see here, I created one table called ABC, but by default it goes to work library. But if you want to store it into some other libraries, like suppose SAS library, we have to give the address like SAS help dot. Now this particular library ABC dataset will be created in SAS help library only. Now see here. Now you will get the ABC dataset here. So nothing but the Explorer window contains the libraries information here. So you can see the number of libraries over here. By default, when you install SAS and SAS software, you will get these four libraries only. One is Maps, one is SAS help, one is SAS user, one is work. So apart from these libraries, if you want to create your own library, suppose if you want to create with your own library, so how can you create? See here, I will show you how to create your own library. In the toolbar, we have an icon called New Library. Maybe you can see this New Library. If you click on that, you can create one new library. So suppose I'm giving one new library called Madhu. So here, see here, one icon is there, enable at short up. If you click on enable button, whatever you're creating library, that will be stored permanently. If you don't click on that enable button, your library will be stored temporarily. It means if you close the SAS session, your library will be gone. So that is the use of enable button. Now okay, now I'm clicking enable button. Again, I'm giving one location here. So it is asking to browse location. I will tell you why should we browse that location. I'm giving here desktop location. Here I creating one new library called Madhu. Open that Madhu library, Madhu folder. Just okay. Just click on OK. Your library will be created. See here, one library called Madhu. If you open Madhu library, nothing is there. But you have not created any data sets. Okay, suppose if you want to create ABC dataset in Madhu library, just change the library name here. Now this time it should be Madhu, so that your dataset will be created in Madhu library only. So that is nothing but we are giving the address of the library, so where the dataset has to store. Now if you submit the program, your dataset will be created in Madhu library. So this is the way to create a library. And one more thing is, while creating library, I have given one location. I have browsed one desktop location. What is the use of that? See here, whatever you are creating dataset in Madhu library, the same datasets will be stored in our PC library, in PC location also. See, this is our PC location, personal computer location, and this is your SAS application. This is your SAS server. So at a time, you can create datasets in SAS server and your PC server. So that's why we have given that location. Okay, so this is about Explorer window, and next one is Results Viewer window. See, in the Results Viewer window, what we are getting here, just we are getting information regarding related to print. Print is nothing but when you write proc print procedure, you will get that information here. You will get that output over here. Okay, suppose see here. Now, if you run this program, you will get this output in the output window. At the same time, if you go on result, if you click on results viewer window, if you click on this, see, you can able to see this results viewer window. Suppose if you open this window, this output, so this the same output will be shown here. Suppose see here, again I am showing you, same output will be appear here. Then what is the use of output window and results viewer window? Anyway, we are able to seeing that output in using output window and results viewer window. Then what is the use of these? What is the difference of these windows? Okay, so if you observe, there is a small difference in between these two windows. First difference is, suppose see here, I am creating one more table called ABC111. Suppose here I am creating one more table called ABC1. Okay, in ABC, there are female data is see, there is one column called sex. Here we have two groups, one is female and one is male. One is female and one is male. Suppose in the first data set, I want to copy all the data which is there in the class data set. I want to copy entire data into ABC library, ABC data set. But in the second data set, I want to copy only the sex should be females. Nothing but I want to copy the only female data. For that, see here, I'm giving a small condition if sex equal to F. It means the only female data will be copied into ABC1. Okay, now see here, in ABC1 we have only female data, but in ABC we have both female and male. Okay, now just clearing this results viewer window. Now see here, I want to print this ABC data set and ABC1 data set as well. Just see. Now I want to print the ABC data set and ABC1 data set. See. Wait. Proc print data equal to ABC. Any library name, this particular data set will be searched from work library. So we have to differentiate the library while giving the library name. So now the data set has to be searched from the Madhu library only. So Madhu.abc, here Madhu.abc. Your SAS program is not case sensitive. You can write any case. It is not case sensitive. You can write any case, uppercase or lowercase. Okay, now see here, when you execute these two windows, now suppose when you are going to print these two data sets, see which output we can see here, the latest output we can see here. But suppose if I want to see this information, this output, individually we have to execute this program so that we can see that output of ABC data set. But when you click both procedures, both programs, like suppose ABC and ABC1, but in the output window we will get the latest one, we will get that latest output. But suppose if you want to see the first one, so that is why we cannot see here in the output window, but we can able to see here by using results viewer window. See, this is your first one, dataset work.abc. Suppose this is your dataset madhu.abc, nothing but this dataset is from the ABC and this dataset is from the work library. And if you click on next one, ABC1 dataset, whichever as per your requirement, if you want to see that specific output, if you want to see the specific output of a dataset, we can use this results viewer window. So this is the difference between output window and results viewer window. Here you can see the latest output. You can able to see the latest output, but you can see that here you can see all the outputs. So that is the difference between output and explorer window. Okay. now the first one is now here. Okay, so I will tell you SAS functionalities. So any SAS programmer, the first concept is the main SAS functionalities of a SAS programmer is, first one is data access. Okay, so what is data access means? So nothing but we are using SAS software to develop the reports, to develop the analysis reports. So to generate any kind of report, first we have to take the data from data source. So that's why the first concept is data access. Okay, now let's see how we import the data from Excel file. How can we import the data from CSV file? How can we import the data from Notepad? Suppose now our data is available in Excel file. So as a SAS programmer, how can you import the data from Excel file into SAS? So see here, I will show you how to import the data from Excel file using graphical method, nothing but GUI, graphical user interface. See here, in the menu bar, we have one option called file option. Nothing but I'm not importing any program, just without writing program, I'm going to import Excel file into SAS. For that, see here, we have an icon called file. So there we can see one option called import data. So import data is nothing but it used to import the data from outside into SAS. Export is nothing but we will send the data from SAS to outside. So that is exporting and this is importing. Okay, now if you click on import data, you can open, so it will open you, it opens one pop-up window. So see what is asking, what type of data do you wish to import? It means what type of data file, whether you want to import Excel file or whether you want to import a CSV file. Just select the type of data file. So if you click here, you can see the number of data files here, different data types. This is Excel file and this is CSV file, comma separated value, and this is Notepad time delimited file .txt extension. Okay, now I want to import the data from Excel file. So click on Excel file, just move next. Okay, what is asking? Where is your Excel file? So browse the Excel file, which to be imported. Just go to desktop. Here I have one folder called Excel file, Excel folder. So there we can see number of Excel files here. So click on particular Excel sheet, Excel file, which is to be imported. Suppose now I want to import the Alish Excel file. Just open it. Click on OK. And the thing is, every Excel file, it consists of what? Excel sheets. Same like that. Here, your Alish Excel file also, it contains some sheets here. But here we have only one sheet, that is none other than class. Just click on class sheet. Now this particular sheet will be imported into where it is to be imported. It is to be imported into SAS. Okay, so as I told, in SAS we will store the data sets. We will create the tables in SAS libraries only. So by default, see, if you don't select any libraries, the default library will be work library. Suppose now I want to select the Madhu library, so that now the Excel file will be imported into Madhu library. Okay, so into Madhu library, with what name the dataset must be created? So give any dataset name here. Suppose I'm giving one dataset name called test. Test is nothing but your table name. I'm giving a table name. Now this particular table will be created in Madhu library. Okay, now finish. Okay, see in the log window whether the file has created or not. Madhu.test dataset was successfully created. Okay, now go to Madhu library. Just click on Explorer window and see here. You can see the test dataset. So this is nothing but this data which imported from the Excel file. Okay, I will show you the Excel file also. So this is your Excel folder. Here we have one Excel file called Alish. See, so this is your class data information. See how there are 5 variables are there, 5 columns are there: name, sex, age, height, and weight. So there are 19 observations are there, and 5 variables are there. See, this data has been successfully imported into SAS. So this is our Alish Excel file data. Okay, as of now, just now I show you that how can you import the data by using graphical user interface, just nothing but drag and drop. Okay, but now whereas as programmer, we have to write some SAS code to import anything. Suppose if you want to import the data from Excel file, you have to write SAS code related to Excel file. Now see, now I'm going to write a small sample program that helps you to import the data from Excel file. Proc import data file equal to location of your Excel file. Now I want to import into SAS. In SAS, where you want to store, out equal to, suppose I want to store into Madhu library with the name of test123 and dbms. So now here I want to go with Excel file. So dbs must be Excel only. Just run it. As I told, every proc step and data step should end with a run statement. Here I'm writing proc step, so it should be end with the run statement. So the system will understand this particular program has been stopped here. Now it will be executed. Okay, now give address of your Excel file. So where is the Excel file? Just go to folder Just copy this location. Just paste here. Okay. Now we are in Excel folder. It means now we in this location, but in this location there are different Excel files. There are n number of Excel files are there. Which Excel file you want to import? You have to select that particular Excel file. Suppose now this time I want to import a CDM Excel file. Okay, give one more slash here in the program. So because I want to export particular Excel file called CDM. Okay, so CDM is a which type of file? It is a Excel file. So we know that. So because CDM is Excel file, but system doesn't understand which type of file it is. So we have to tell SAS system to understand the type of data file. So if it is Excel file, extension must be .xls. Suppose if it is a CSV file, the extension must be .csv. No need to worry. I will give you some lists also. Type of file and extensions. Okay, the next one is we have selected the file which is to be imported. Now this particular sheet, this particular file, this Excel file, where it is to be imported? It is to be imported into SAS library. Okay, so by default, if you don't mention any library, this particular data set will be created in work library. Just check it. Now I'm going to execute this SAS program. See in the log window, do you have any errors here? We don't have any errors. So our program has been successfully executed. So once if your program has successfully executed, you can create the data set here. See, test 1, 2, 3, where it has created in work library. By default, if you don't mention any library, system will understand it has to store in the work library only. So that is the reason why this ABC test 1, 2, 3 data set has created in the work library. So this is your data set. Okay, again we'll check the output whether it is matching or not with Excel file. Just go to Excel file, open the CDM Excel file. Okay, see here. If you see here, there are different sheets are there again. Sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 4, sheet 5, sheet 6, and sheet 3. Okay, from this CDM Excel file, which sheet has imported? The first sheet will be imported because we didn't mention any particular sheet name here. Even if you don't specify any sheet name, by default system will import the first sheet of the Excel file. The first sheet of the Excel file will be imported. Suppose for instance I want to import this particular sheet like sheet 4. I want to import this data, patient ID, age, gender and race. So in this case you have to specify the sheet name here. Sheet equal to sheet name, and the sheet name should be in single quotations, remember. Now see, now sheet 4 will be created, but see here we'll get some small error here. If you run this program, I will tell you what is error here. See here, import cancelled. Why means output dataset work.test 1, 2, 3 already exists. It means in particular work library we have created one dataset called test 1, 2, 3. Again next time again we are executing the same program for this particular sheet. So system doesn't understand that it is a new dataset or not, because the same dataset name, one dataset has already existed in the particular library. So that is the reason why import is cancelled. Again system will give some small instruction, that is nothing but specify replace option to overwrite it. So suppose here we have one option called replace option here. Now this replace option will do, if you specify replace option, this particular data set, this particular output will be overwritten by, this output will be overwritten by this output. So when it is required, replace option, when you are creating two data sets with the same name, the latest output will not be or overwrite on that previous output by default. So until unless you specify the replace option. So if you want to overwrite it, you need to specify replace option. So that system will replace that latest output. Now see, in the log window, test 1 to the data successfully created. Now if you open this output, you can see the different output here. Patient ID, age, gender and race. So this is from sheet 4 output. Previously the output was from sheet 1. So because we specify replace option and we set the sheet name here, so that is the reason why we are getting this sheet 4 information into test 1 to 3 data set. Even if you don't specify replace option, you can create new data set. Just better to give a new data set, test 1 to 3 4. So now this time the data set will be created with this name. No need to mention the replace option. 1 to 3. Okay, so this is the way to import the data from Excel file into SAS. Okay, suppose now my data is my client, he has given the data in CSV file. So in that case, how can you import the data from CSV file? Just no need to worry. See the same program. Just we have to change the type of file, that's it. So what is the type of file here? Suppose see in the desktop. In the desktop, again I have one more folder called CSV. This is for CSV files. There I have stored some CSV files here. Class 1 data file car class. So suppose now I want to import the data from car class. So now I want to import this data. So this is your car underscore class. It's a CSV file, comma separated value. Just browse the location. Just paste it here. And give one more slash, because again we have different files here. Which type of you want to import? I want to import car underscore class. So type the name of the file here, car underscore class and extension must be .csv because it's a CSV file, and give a data set, new data set name test. Now I want to give one more data set called sample. Now sample data set will be created in which library? It goes to work library, because until unless you specify any library name, this particular data set will be created in work library only. And DBMS name also it is to be changed. It is also, it should be CSV because we selected CSV file. So these things you should change that. That's it, and everything is same. The same procedure, the same syntax, and we have to change. What we have to change? We have to change the type of file, extension, your DBMS, and your new data set here. Now see here. If you click on this submit button, sample has created here. See the particular file as imported from this from CSV file. Okay. Suppose now my data is available in the Notepad. Now I don't have data in Excel file and CSV file. So suppose if your data is available in the Notepad, then how you are going to import the data from Notepad into SAS? I will show you Notepad. Because in the real time, the data may be available in the Notepad or like Excel file or CSV files. In some cases, every company, they will maintain some databases like Oracle, DB2, Teradata. So suppose if your data is available in the database, then how can you import? So again, I will give you a syntax. First, let us complete this Notepad. If the data is available in the Notepad, so how can you import the data from Notepad? Okay, see here I have one one notepad called sample. Here I'm creating one folder called notepad. Now this sample notepad is available in this particular location. Now I want to import this particular file from this location. Just copy the location. But except notepad, except this particular Excel and CSV, the syntax will be changed for notepad. In case of notepad, we need to write a different program. Okay, I will show you. See a small program. For Excel file, for CSV file, here I used to write proc step, but for notepad, here I'm writing with the data step. Dataset name. So here I'm giving new dataset called XYZ. So I have that particular notepad in particular location. Just paste it here. Again, in that particular notepad folder, what is the file name? Sample. So give one more slash here. Type your name, file name, sample. Again, the extension will be different for the notepad. See, for, the extension for notepad is .txt, and close the double quotations, give a semicolon here. And the next one is input statement. Again, I will explain you what is in file, what is input statement. There we have the data like ID, name, sex, salary. Input ID, name, sex, salary. See, XY dataset has created. I will tell you what is dollar symbol, what is user dollar symbol. Okay, now see this. So we successfully imported the data from Notepad. If the data is available in Notepad, we can import the data using this code, this SAS code. Now let me tell you what is the info statement and what is the input statement. In these files, in this Excel and CSV file, the data is associated with the column names. So no need to mention the column names, because there is a column name. Column name is the column names also available in the files. But in case of Notepad, we don't have column names here. If you observe here, see, we don't have any column names here. So that is the reason why we are giving input statement, because system doesn't understand the input of that particular data. Okay, so what is the use of info statement means? System will understand, system will identify the file where the particular file has to import it from. So where the file is to be imported from, this particular location will be, this particular statement will be useful. So simply we can say, in file it is nothing but it is useful to understand, it is useful to identify the data source where the data file exists. So because we have given the source of the file and with .txt. And the next one is input statement. Why it is required? Because from that particular file we have to read the data. We have to read the data. So how can you tell SAS system to read those particular data? So by the help of input statement, we can give the variable names. According to the input, system will read the data into the SAS table. See, first I given ID variable because first data is related to ID. It's a ID, and the next one is name, and the next one is sex. Next one is salary. Okay. And what is the use of these dollar symbols? Suppose if you remove the dollar symbols, if you remove the dollar symbol, now see what happens in the XY data set. In the XY data set, you are not getting name and sex data. You are not getting information for name and sex. Why? Because remember one thing, in our SAS application, every variable has treated as a numeric. The system will understand all variables are numeric. But the problem is, this name is system will understand is a numeric variable, but name is contains characters here. So that is the reason why here I told you in data types we have two data types. One is character and one is numeric. One is character and one is numeric. So by default you will get the numeric data, but you cannot get the character data unless you specify the dollar symbol. This dollar symbol is nothing but it's a predefined character in format. So suppose when you have any issue reading the data, reading the raw data, it's a character data. So in that case, we have to specify this symbol, dollar symbol. So now system will understand. So there are some character data. The file has to be read character data into SAS dataset. So now this is a way to read the character data into SAS. So dollar symbol is nothing but to understand system for the character data. So now it is useful to read the character data, and for the numeric variable, no need to mention any dollar symbol, nothing. So by default, every variable has a numeric variable. Okay. So except Notepad, for CSV, for CSV file, for Excel file, we use proc import procedure, and for the Notepad, we use this procedure. Nothing but in our SAS, in our base SAS, we have two levels. One is data state and one is proc state. So we will write the code from the data state as per our requirement. We will write the code from this proc state as per our requirement only. So here our requirement is we need to read the data from Notepad. So in this case, we have to go for data state. So because it's a standard syntax actually, and if you want to read the data from apart from this Notepad, in that case you need to go with proc state. So that is nothing but proc import procedure. Proc is nothing but procedure. Procedure name is called import. Okay, and the next one is, see here I didn't mention any semicolon here because from here, from this proc keyboard up to here, this is one statement. So I told you every statement should end up with a semicolon. So this is only one statement, but I split it into multiple lines. So as I told, you can write a single statement into multiple lines. It doesn't harm your program. No problem. You can write a single statement into multiple lines. Even you can write like this also. No problem. It will come. Okay, so today we discussed about how can you import the data from different Excel files, CSV file from the Notepad, and again today I explained you what is editor window, what is a log window, what's output window, explorer and results viewer window, and how can you import the data from Excel file using graphical method, like there are some icons import data. So if you have any doubts, just let me know. Hello.
Srinivas. This is Dinesh. Now, how do the students, how do they get access to the software? Do they have to download from somewhere? Because I was
Yeah.
watching on Google, on YouTube, they're showing that they can download the free version of SAS 9.3.
Yeah, yeah. 9.1.3.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, no problem. We can download it.
They're showing that they need to have the virtual box as well. So is the
Okay,
virtual box
VMware.
required?
No, actually, it depends on OS which they are using. Actually, suppose it's a Windows 8, virtual machine is required because it's compatibility problem.
Okay.
Suppose if they are using the Windows XP or Windows 7, virtual machine is not required. It can be installed directly.
Mhm. Okay, that's good.
Okay, it's better to install virtual machine actually because again we have to install Oracle also, SQL also.
Hmm.
So it's better to install virtual machine.
Okay.
I would say that.
If we take the whatever is on the YouTube or wherever we have, we can they can just follow those steps to install the install the SAS, I believe,
That's it. That's it.
for basic demo purpose, like 30-day
Yeah.
trial or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Any questions from Madhu and Mukesh?
No, no.
Did you understand these concepts?
Yeah.
If you have any doubts, just let me know so that I can give you, if any explanation is required.
All right. So I have one question, just simple
Yeah.
question. So
Yeah.
in the proc import, like you didn't give that semicolon after output equals sample. So
Yeah.
what happens if you give the semicolon? Nothing happens, or?
No, it happens. See here. Suppose if you write semicolon here, see this DBMS will come in black color. It means syntax error.
Oh, okay.
So it's a standard syntax actually. So you shouldn't give any semicolon up to DBMS.
Oh, okay.
So actually you can write like this also.
Mm-hmm.
You can split into single line.
Okay.
To understand people, I written like this.
And also, what about like you showed about the Notepad? If you want to get some data from Word file.
Okay. Which one? Word file. No, it's a reporting format actually. That is not it's not a file.
So from
It
the
is
Word, like if you have any table in Word or something, you cannot.
no, you cannot get it. You can get the data from WordPad. It's because it's a reporting formats.
Okay.
These are the type data files.
Mm-hmm.
MS Word, Microsoft Word, PDF, HTML. These are the reporting formats. We cannot get the data from those reports.
Okay. All right. Just curious.
Okay. And if you have any more questions, just let me know, please.
So, is there any way, like, because in my free time, just like if I get the record for this, like I saw here record option, I tried to record but couldn't. So, if we have recorded, then I can go back again and look, and it will be more clear. And you know, uh, so is there any way we can record it?
No. First, just install SAS software. I will tell you every day what you have to do. Okay. So I will give you some task also. Suppose now today I given this proc import class, right? So regarding this concept, I will give you one task.
Oh, okay.
So I'll give you some sample data sources. Some Excel files. So again, I will give you some one notepad. There I will mention all the tasks which you have to do.
Okay.
So according to the task, you have to complete the task. One time you have to import the data from Excel file. One time you have to import the data from Notepad, or one time you have to import the data from database.
Okay.
So I didn't explain how to import the data from database because I don't have a database. Tomorrow I will install the SQL software. So tomorrow I will show you how can you import the data from database.
All right.
Because in the real time we need to import data from database only. So in rare case, we use these Excel files, Excel and CSV file. But in most case, we have to import the data from database only.
Okay.
Okay.
All
For
right.
that, we have one more procedure called PROC. Tomorrow we will discuss PROC.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, Srinivas.